Welcome back to a brand new episode of Dolphins HQ right here in the Baptist Health Studios. We're going to jump right into the tape today and show you how Achane and Ollie Gordon gives Miami a versatile backfield that's portable across all schematics and offensive philosophies. Let's jump into this game against the Cleveland Browns a few weeks back and just roll this clip here from the sideline angle to show you the result of the play before we jump ahead right now to the end zone copy and show you how this play manifested across a big run here for Achane. So the thing I like about watching the Dolphins run game in general is they always teach me things because you have your core philosophies in terms of the run scheme. This is an outside zone scheme. You're going to reach block, but this tackle is going to kick out this way. And what they're going to do is sell counter action with Alec Ingold coming back across the formation to give some pause, some conflict to that Will linebacker off the weak side of the formation. So here comes your outside zone run to Achane. You watch him get a little bit late to the gap right there because the design to this linebacker, and it gives Achane this lane off of a really good combination block here from Jonas Savait-Inaya and Aaron Brewer. This little support right here off the outside edge helps Brewer kind of maintain this position and climb back on the inside to get that seal, to get the seal off Patrick Paul. And then here comes Jonas Savait-Inaya in the alley, and right there goes Achane off of a variation of outside zone, the Dolphins' core running game concept, and the vision and patience and speed there for Achane, all of that on display for an explosive play here for Miami's star running back. Let's go ahead and jump ahead here to Ollie Gordon and his ability to be multifaceted in this Dolphins offense. Jump to the end zone copy right here. This is going to be inside zone. So what you're going to see from inside zone is a pair of double teams, and often it's easy to confuse inside zone with duo, which is kind of the same concept, but the first thing you look for is which direction do their feet move in unison. If they go in the same direction, it's inside zone, and that's what this is right here. But if it's not in the same direction, that's duo. But here's your inside zone variation with a toss element that kind of lends itself to possibly outside zone with this lead blocker, but you also have Malik Washington coming across the formation on this little split flow action, which could indicate a possible toss reverse to Malik. We've seen that play ran plenty of times. But what I want to show you here to complement Achane's speed and what he can do to find the edges in the outside zone game is Ollie Gordon's downhill physical prowess as a really, really hard to bring down runner. So that's a big lane right there. That's scheme and execution from the offensive line to create that alley. It's exactly what you want. But here's what I want to show you about Ollie Gordon. He gets contacted at the 23-yard line, and he gets tackled at the 18-yard line. That's the power, the extra 5 yards that can help you in a four-minute offense, in short yardage. Miami's been excellent this year in short yardage, and just helps wear down opposing defenses to give you more space to run your outside zone game, to run your play action game, to run your drop back passing game. It all works together. And the best part about Achane and Gordon's ability to be multifaceted in terms of outside zone, inside zone, counter, power schemes, gap schemes, whatever it might be, is that both players are equipped to do everything. Because in the passing game, on third down, if you're going to stay in the game as a running back, you better be able to catch the football and pass protect. And on this play right here, this is going to be the famous 20-yard Ollie Gordon touchdown catch and run against the Falcons with the outstanding Aaron Brewer block. But what I want you to watch here is the width this safety, Jesse Bates, gets going out wide because he's thinking about all the outside zone stuff they can run. He's thinking about the swing passes they can throw to Ollie Gordon, and we're going to run a little Texas variation off of this. A Texas route where you angle it wide, cut it back across the inside. You get the pull block here from Aaron Brewer, who hits that key block on Jesse Bates, and it's out the gate off to the races for an Ollie Gordon receiving touchdown. And then Achane back in week 2 against the Patriots. A very similar play here, running the Texas little angle route, angle back across the middle of the field. And the defender you're trying to create conflict for is this linebacker. Pause that linebacker. Look at the width he gets on the Waddle release because Waddle, a very dangerous receiver to the top of the screen, he helps you create space. We're going to run off of that with Achane and then watch the run after the catch here from Miami's just stud running back in Achane. 29 yards into the end zone for a touchdown. These running backs give the Dolphins the ability to run their man scheme, their zone scheme, all the passing game options on the table. They can pass protect. These two running backs do everything for the Miami Dolphins, and it keeps their offense flexible and gives them options every single week. Joining us for this week's Opponent Spotlight presented by Govee, Sal Capaccio, who works Bills sideline for Buffalo Bills games. And Sal, what do you think the Bills learned about the Dolphins in that initial primetime game back in week 3?
Well, I think they learned that they're still really fast and they put a lot of speed on the field. And every time I talk to Sean McDermott about defending the Dolphins, he always talks about defending every blade of grass. 53 1/3 yards are going to spread you out. And they're going to be able to run through seams and have obviously a lot of speed at the running back position, the wide receiver position. And the Bills have a healthy respect for what they bring on the offensive side. It's funny, even against Kansas City, I do Sean McDermott's weekly radio interview, and I mentioned what they do. He actually unpromptedly brought up the Dolphins and how similar they are to try to defend them. So I think that that's what they learned, that the Dolphins they're going to lean into that, no doubt about it. And obviously, I know they now just traded Jalen Phillips, but they still have guys that can get past get to the passer, and that's something the Bills always are aware of.
I wanted to give you a chance to just kind of talk about how this defense is playing this year, especially against one of the league's best last week in KC.
So I don't know if it's much of a storyline around the league, but it is here, and it's how this defense has kind of changed the last few weeks because Sean McDermott's had a bigger hand in the play calling. Now, he hasn't outright admitted or said that he is calling the plays, but it appears he's calling the plays now, Travis. And that means taking it away basically from Bobby Babich. But him and Bobby Babich have been together a long time, and he says Bobby Babich is a great coach. He says we do it together. I think it's hard to call plays together. Who really calls plays together, right? So I think one of the things that's happened here over the last couple of weeks is Sean McDermott has taken over the play calling duties. This is his system. Going back to Carolina when they went to a Super Bowl with the Carolina Panthers. And I think it's really kind of changed the way the Bills have married the pass rush with the coverage. It just seems like it's a little bit more in sync over the last couple of weeks. The one thing the Bills have tried to do over the last several years, really going back to when they were losing to the Kansas City early on in this era in the playoffs, is to improve the pass rush. And they've gone out and they've signed Von Miller and they've signed Joey Bosa now this year. And I think this is the year where it looks like it is the best pass rush they've had in quite a while. I mean, last week against the Chiefs, you talk about, having that opportunity, those opportunities late in the game. A big reason why that they were able to close it out, they got pressure on Mahomes. They had 15 quarterback hurries on Mahomes last week on top of 3 sacks. I mean, this pass rush is really getting after it, and that's a big difference.
Let's go ahead and pivot back to the offense here. And maybe I did this because it almost feels redundant at this point, talking about Josh Allen. You can tell me, sing his praises all you want. So I want to get a little more micro on my Josh Allen question for you this week and ask you about his deployment, because in watching it and kind of looking at the numbers and hearing, some other podcasts I listen to that talk about, the Buffalo Bills with significance, is that he hasn't been running as much. And I'm curious to get your take on what caused that idea. Is that the case? What caused the idea? And what do you think the benefits can be from him not taking off and running so much now in October, November, maybe saving it more for January and February?
I think two things have happened. Good question. And one goes back a couple of years, actually, where the Bills, they understand that their ticket to get to where they want to go is Josh Allen being healthy, right? So they've played the long game here with Josh, and they don't want to put him in harm's way. They want to make sure that they're keeping him upright, throughout, the season and then into the playoffs, and have a healthy Josh Allen, because otherwise they don't have a chance to ultimately get to where they want to go. So that's number one, and it will happen when they need it to. They ran a really nice read option on a third down that I think took the Chiefs by surprise last week, and those are the times where that's going to happen. They're still running the tush push to the quarterback sneak. But the other thing that's happened is suddenly the Bills have become the best running football team in the NFL by handing the ball off to James Cook. I mean, this guy, you know him from down being in South Florida, right? I mean, he's from South Florida, obviously went to Georgia, and now he's in his 4th year in the National Football League, and he's legitimately one of the best running backs in the league. He really is. And I think he might be leading the league in rushing now. I didn't look at the stats this week yet. Him and Jonathan Taylor are right up there. James Cook is special. He really is. And why do you need Josh Allen to run the ball when you can turn around, give it to James Cook, and let him do the work? Because that's what he does. They've really transformed this running game, this offense, I should say, into a run-heavy game with Josh Allen, the league MVP at quarterback, and it makes it so tough to defend. And I think the stats bear it out where I believe, still after last week, the Bills are the only team in the NFL that actually has a higher than 50% run versus pass rate in the National Football League. And people here go, come on, it's Josh Allen. He's a league MVP. And I don't disagree with that. Let Josh cook, right? But why do you don't need to do that if you're winning games by being a two-dimensional offense and keeping teams off balance.
So you can find him on the Bills sideline for WGR 550 at Sal Sports on social. Sal Capaccio, we'll see you Sunday, man, from that Visitors Radio booth. Looking forward to see you down here, man.
Looking forward to the sunny, nice weather.
We're going to take you inside one of the Dolphins' prominent offensive concepts they've used for the last 4 years here, the RPO concept with a slide rail glance. What does that mean? I'm going to show you right now on the film. Back in 22, here's a throw to Jalen Waddle on the glance route on this concept. So what you're going to get is a little glance route right here, basically a little miniature slant route, and then a rail concept, a rail route up the sideline, and this backside tight end comes across for the slide. So slide, rail, glance. We're going to hit this one to Waddle, and you're trying to create conflict across the defense here with different gaps and the threat of the run game. You see he makes that catch in the back shoulder, takes advantage of this window right here against a intermediate zone coverage for the Lions as they go into 3 across the fence right there, and put that ball on the back shoulder for Waddle to make a first down catch into the red zone. If you go to the end zone angle of the copy, it's run action. They're going to sell run because Tua has the option to hand this ball off inside, but also has the option to throw the football. And when you look at the slide route right here from Mike Gesicki back in 2022, that's the split flow element of your outside zone game. So it has all kinds of wrinkles and variations off of this one look, and you see it every single Sunday, even now, from this Miami Dolphins offense. Go ahead and jump ahead to a play later on in that game, and you'll see this a lot where the inside man winds up running the rail and the outside man runs the glance route here. You can switch this up. You're going to see Tyreek Hill short motion inside, return motion back to the perimeter, and you can have options to do, again, the glance and the rail with either of those two players, but on these particular instances, Dolphins do have that inside man run the rail, and right here Miami hits it for a big first down on a game-clinching drive against the Lions back in 2022. Here comes your slide, here comes your rail, here comes your glance, RPO action. Tua pulls out of the belly of the back and throws the rail against a really disadvantaged position here for the Lions defense. They do not want this defender on Tyreek Hill in this position because he's an outside linebacker. Not a good matchup for the defense, and you create the conflict here with a stack off the motion, which this defender cannot get his width to cover the rail route. It's all about Tua making the reads on those two defenders to that side of the formation. And the final play here, fast forward to 2023, opening day against the Los Angeles Chargers. They're going to start with Alec Ingold to the strong side of the formation here as a double Y, but they're going to motion him across the formation right here just to get to this look from different types of variations from this formation. So once again, you can have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and 4-2 receivers run this set, or you can have a receiver and a fullback run the rail glance concept here off of your RPO slide rail concept. It's a little bit wordy, I know, but you see it every single Sunday. So here's the short motion again from Ingold. He takes the rail, Craycraft on the glance. Here comes the backside slide route with Savon Achane running the RPO action inside there. So you can get to all kinds of variations from this look, and basically what it does is it creates this conflict for these outside defenders right here. You see this man coverage on River Craycraft. Because of that leverage, that formation with these defenders inside, they're not going to be able to work over the top of this potential pick and rub route you get right here, which creates an easy access run for Ingold, and that tips off Tua, who is reading these defenders right here. He wants to know how they're rotating at the snap. I'm going to go ahead and pull the ball out of the belly of the back, and right there, once he sees that with the inside slant from on the glance from Craycraft, he knows he has access to this throw to Alec Ingold, rip it on the back shoulder, pirouette, spinning catch, get up the sideline, big time play from your fullback there. So the Dolphins run this concept every single week. The slide, rail, glance concept out of the RPO. It threatens the linebackers, the safeties, the defensive line. It helps you in pass protection. It's a core concept that has multiple wrinkles off of it, and it's a very go-to good offense for the Miami Dolphins. The NFL is a league of cycles, trends, and transformation. Success is never guaranteed, and growth is not always linear. And though the 2025 season has not gone according to plan for the Dolphins, if you peel back the onion on the campaign, you can find little identities developing that can get this team going in the right direction. The core of the offense is cut from the same cloth. Patrick Paul, Aaron Brewer, they're both scheme-versatile butt kickers that set a tone for your football team. The type of guys that you don't want to run into back in a dark alley somewhere. You've got similar mindsets at wide receiver with Jalen Waddle and Malik Washington. Fire up their blocking reels, and it'll be you who is fired up when you get done watching that. And a big part of this ties into my personal belief in what the Dolphins have at the running back position, which I think has the potential to be one of the best running back rooms in the entire NFL. Ollie Gordon, to me, is a dude. I've seen enough of this guy to feel very good about his future here, and we have seen what Devon Achane does. He is a superstar. What they do within the offense complements each other's skill sets, and you have this fun ability to be super diverse in your run scheme because of them together as one. And the first question you might ask is, doesn't that tip the defense's mind to what you might be doing on every single play because of what players are good at? Au contraire. Because as we showed you in the breakdown, they both have the skill sets to keep the entirety of your run game and pass game menu available at all times. And they can do it behind Patrick Paul, Aaron Brewer, Jonas Savaiinaya, a young, developing offensive line that's working together and getting valuable reps together this season. I also think you might have something in terms of an FY combination at the tight end position with Greg Dulcich and Julian Hill. And I also like the very limited sample size so far of Hayden Rucci. That's an intriguing tight end room that fits in with this brand of football of toughness. I think you can lean into that identity and create these ideal matchups for Waddle to run by coverage as a receiver, and all those things, a balanced run scheme, a top tier number 1 wide receiver, those are really, really good pieces to be a foundation of your offense moving forward. On the other side, I think the growth of the 2 rookie defensive tackles has been palpable. Jordan Phillips has been able to build on what made him great at Maryland. He's an anchor in the middle of your defense who can withstand double teams, shed blocks, and make the play that he helped create. His strength jumps off the tape every single week. Then the first round pick, Kenneth Grant, his tape has been a linear trajectory, of improved pad level and hand usage, and you're seeing offensive linemen struggle to deal with his size and surge more and more each and every week. Dante Trader Jr. might go down as the steal of this 2025 class. I like Dante Trader a heck of a lot. His growth in Anthony Weaver's scheme shows an ability to be deployed in multiple roles on top of the football IQ. Trader has the attacking mindset a safety must have at this level. He loves to attack leverage and go put his face in the fan as a tackler or taking on a block. These signs of growth, paired with that 2024 class that continues to shine on its own, the Dolphins are developing a young core of talented players who approach the game the right way. That will do it here for this episode of Dolphins HQ from the Baptist Health Studios. Don't forget to check out the Drive Time podcast hosted by yours truly, available 5 days per week wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the Dolphins YouTube channel for new episodes of Mic'd Up, Coach McDaniel breakdowns, and media availabilities. We'll be back next week to get you ready for the long trip across the pond where your Miami Dolphins will be the first NFL matchup ever played in España when they take on the Washington Commanders in Madrid. Enjoy the divisional matchup at Hard Rock Stadium, and we'll see you next week.